So today we're having the first announcement of shows that are put on hold or indefinite delay. SNL announced that they are delayed indefinitely amid the writer's strike, meaning the Pete Davidson hosted episode that was supposed to happen this weekend is officially off, and we're now going to get reruns until basically their airtime slot for the season is done. I recommend following Variety.com. They're doing a list and updating by the hour of all the shows and movies affected by the strike. The Producers Guild has also made a statement showing support to the WGA. Strikes are currently happening in LA and New York. You have the producer Steve Higgins, who is a producer of SNL and a Tonight Show announcer, joining the picket line. You also have Zach Cherry from Severance joining the picket line as well. Danny Strong is currently on the picket line, and he is currently speaking with different outlets saying how basically it's unfair that the writers are being treated this way. You also have members of SAG-AFTRA joining the picket line. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, when they make this sign saying that they will spoil Succession, they're not playing. They literally hold the keys. We're always seeing studios and networks doing uptick in reality TV. CW just picked up F-Boy Island after it got canceled and also announced a spinoff, Edgar Island. Y'all know them jokes people were making last night about, 20 seasons of Love is Blind. They weren't jokes.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you all for joining us for Get Into It with Taz and Chris, our resident. And yes, we know tomorrow is May the 4th, but may the 4th be with you tonight.
May the 4th Eve.
Now, we got a lot to get into, and we're going to bring you some sports news, but the hot ticket right now. And as always, make sure you check out the link. Would you stop? Hashtag me too. It does not come off. The hot ticket tonight. Now, we tried to tell y'all, Tucker was not acting. Tucker was not acting. And if you have not checked out the links in the description of this video regarding Tucker Carlson, go ahead, pause, go check those out, and then come on back with us. But let's get into these two videos, get comfy, and we're going to come back and talk about it before we get into Levis, Jackson Mahomes, and Mr. You ain't got to go home, but you can't come back here. We'll see you in 2 and 2.
Not a crime. My opinions are not a crime. They never can be a crime in a free country. A. B. I have a right to. Not a crime. My opinions are not a crime. They never can be a crime in a free country. A. B. I have a right to all the information I need to make an informed decision about whatever the issue is. That's democracy, right? If they're like, oh, you're not allowed to know that. Really? Why am I not? Because I might arrive at a conclusion that's different from the lies you're telling me? Actually, I want that information.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It now appears like we have a firm reason why Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News earlier this week. But it's more than just that. We also now have a very clear reason as to why Fox News suddenly, right as the Dominion defamation trial began, decided to work out a settlement with the company. And it all comes down to what Tucker did. According to a massive new report from the New York Times, there were more Tucker Carlson text messages that were a part of the Dominion lawsuit that the public didn't get to see. Now, I don't always like saying, I told you so, but that is 100% what I sat right here and told y'all was going to happen. I told y'all that the text messages we had already seen, as bad as they were just the tip of the iceberg, because those were only revealed because Dominion had to reveal them in their court filings to fight back other motions filed by Fox News, and that the real juicy stuff, and honestly, I think I said this like 2 weeks ago, the real juicy stuff wasn't going to come out until the trial. Turns out I was 100% right. But we, the public, weren't the only people who were expecting horrible text messages to come out. Because apparently in the redacted court filings that the Fox News board of directors and other executives only received the night before the trial began, they got to see these horrific text messages that unfortunately we still don't know the contents of, but they were from Tucker Carlson. Several of them had him referring to women by the C word. Others were, very graphic, very disturbing, very disparaging, possibly a little bit of bigotry tossed in there. We're not 100% certain, but the text messages were so bad. The content in them was so, quote, obscene, according to the people that have seen them, that it would have cost the network big time. Like, they were so afraid of these text messages becoming public that they paid Dominion Voting Systems $787 million just so the public wouldn't see these text messages. That's how bad they were. $787 million to not show you what Tucker Carlson was saying in private. That is a hefty price tag. And that, of course, according to this report and according to the analysis, is what not only led to the settlement, but then eventually led to his firing a week later, earlier this week. So how bad are those text messages? We don't know. But apparently bad enough to be willing to write a check for $787 million. Now, here's the thing. Fox's own lawyers had these text messages, right? They knew about them. But they didn't tell their own clients until the night before. Like, they're getting ready to go to bed. Like, all right, guys, sleep tight. We got a big trial tomorrow. Oh, by the way, have you seen these texts from Tucker Carlson? Oh, boy, they're bad. Well, anyway, good night. Fire those lawyers immediately. Like, they should have been fired before you fired Tucker Carlson. Because that is absolutely horrific. Your own lawyers were apparently not being forthright with you and giving you all of the information that they had. Information that could have caused you to negotiate a settlement months ago. Of course, if you had negotiated a settlement months ago, then the lawyers wouldn't have been able to still keep working on the Dominion case, so they wouldn't have gotten paid. So you got screwed at least twice. But those lawyers ought to be fired. I mean, honest to God, these lawyers at this point, I believe, need to be investigated. Because you withheld evidence from your own clients so that you could continue the case, so you would continue to get paid. That's absolutely legal malpractice, in my opinion. And you ought to be investigated, potentially disbarred for doing that to them. Not that they didn't deserve it, but just because somebody deserves something doesn't mean it's always legal, right? We can all agree on that. But it is what it is. Those text messages may still come out because Fox News still has that Smartmatic lawsuit. And if Smartmatic is smart, don't settle. Like, don't take any amount of money at all. We got to see these text messages. Like, I'm sorry, I know I'm putting my personal desires above your financial well-being, but I'm allowed to do that. So please don't settle. Please let us see these text messages. All right, I'll tell you what. Let us see the text messages, and then you can settle. Like, do the damage and then be like, all right, now we'll also take $787 million. That'd be a good way. Like, you can do that. I'm okay with that. They also have the lawsuit filed by former producer Abby Grossberg, who alleges that Tucker Carlson created an environment that was, filled with harassment and other workplace issues. So text messages may come out in there. Who knows? It all eventually comes out. Like, we'll find out one day. I'm just hoping it's soon rather than some distant day in the future when we've all stopped caring about this.
Now, just to give some additional context, remember when Kevin McCarthy was fighting for his life to become speaker, right?
Yeah, so
Tucker Carlson wanted Kevin to come onto the show, and basically Tucker wanted to throw his weight around to show that he was a kingmaker. On top of the egregious racist text messages. And like I said, if you all want further context, the videos are linked in the description of this video. I've learned from past shows, I'm not going to show them here. I am not going to show them here because we will get snatched off quicker than you think.
right. But really, once you do, are we really that surprised by what we see? And it didn't come down to one text or two. There were things that were known, But when you have ratings and you like money, you leave things in place until lawsuits come. So,
And keep in mind, the Murdoch family, that's not a family of journalists. And Tucker is not the first anchor to be fired. He replaced another highly controversial anchor. And the fact that Tucker realized he could get popular and he could increase ratings and he could increase sponsorships by spewing hate, just like when I showed y'all his emergence video where he's like, oh, the truth and he's setting y'all up for a podcast. That's what I feel like he's setting y'all up for. He's setting y'all up for him to come out with the podcast because he's trying to further convince his viewers and more people that, hey, I'm going to talk to you about the truth. I'm going to talk to you about the real issues. No, you're not.
That's like Truth Social being truth. But yeah, that's also like Tucker saying he's going to become an investigator. We've seen what he does with videos. No.
Yeah, because that whole January 6th thing.
Yeah.
How are you? And when he emerged with that video going, and then he's like, well, if I'm searching for the truth, why are they keeping me from it? You had the truth right before your eyes, and you still put forth a false narrative to perpetuate violence. And when you go and look at the links in the description, Tucker was getting off on the violence. And he was texting people, excuse me, about getting off on the violence.
Yeah. And the narrative is what their shows do. That's what they want. They're geared towards their viewers, and they know what their viewers want to hear, and they're feeding it to them. Now, not to say they also have some of that inside of them, but they're clearly geared towards their viewers. And that's why the misinformation and the lies and the exaggerations all come into play. I mean, how many times now lately have we seen them promoting, the burning cities and look at these democratic cities or riots? I mean, it doesn't take much for you to research and pull statistics from Republican states. It's just that their viewers, they count on their viewers not researching anything. They want their information from a certain voice, and they get that from that voice. They're not Googling.
And they just want somebody to tell them that they're right.
Right, exactly. And they're willing to, if someone else is telling you, no, we got the facts here, this is what they say, they're willing to ignore what others would consider facts because that's not what they want to hear. That's not the narrative. That's not the focus of their anger, because the fear and the anger gets shoveled at you all the time on Fox. So, of course, you're picking sides. Anything having to do with the left, oh, we can't support that. They say it's true. Well, I'm still not going to support it. Well, there's facts. I'm still not going to support it. That's how they're geared. They don't have other networks. It's not like they're watching Fox and then turn around and turn on ABC, or MSNBC. They're not. They've been told for years what they need to listen to and who they need to listen to. So it's no surprise that they have been and will continue to be immune to facts, because they don't care about statistics. They don't care about polls. They don't care about what's popular in society. It all feeds back to what they want to hear, and are they being told by people that they trust, meaning whoever it is, whatever voice it is.
Yeah, whatever voice is going to tell them that they are correct.
Yeah.
Quick sidebar. I made this announcement on TikTok, but I also want to make this announcement here. Their popularity is growing amongst people taking subreddits from Reddit and reading them or using the voiceover feature on TikTok and putting it up on their platform. I have been noticing that a lot of racists are fabricating stories. We're going to go through a story tomorrow. We're not going to do it tonight. where they're trying to perpetuate their reverse racism stories. So I need you all to be mindful. And if anybody watching this, whether live or later, has one of those channels on TikTok or on other social media platforms, be careful the stories that you pull. They may be the stories that will get you a lot of clicks and likes and views, but realize why they're getting you a lot of clicks and likes and views, because your content will be used to perpetuate racial tropes.
Right.
Because I saw 2 stories within 24 hours where they were trying to say that, you know, Black people are just lazy and combative on the job always. And if you fire them, their parents are going to show up. And then another story where some little Black girl was just racist towards a little Mexican girl all through school, almost ruined her. But let's dive into little Mr. Overly Confident Levis. And I can say this with a smile on my face, because
Lexington.
when you live in a state that does not have professional sports, people get their heads blown up because so many people come out. So many people are fans of middle school, high school, college, and in the Commonwealth, you can play high school sports before you're even in high school, et cetera, et cetera. So people get so blown up because they're like, oh, I got this fan base. I must be. See, that just stand and throw quarterback is a quarterback of long gone. Look at the top 3 picks. Nobody wants you to just stand there for a photo op and just keep throwing to the running back and keep throwing to the wide receiver. We don't want handoffs and tosses no more.
Yeah, Tebow.
We're still mad that y'all were calling the no huddle offense of the Cincinnati Bengals the hurry up offense, and y'all still not execute. You know what? Let's just get into this story. Let me play the
all the way from Lexington.
Let me play the video.
What happened to Kentucky quarterback Will Levis was ironic. It felt cruel watching somebody be humiliated on a national stage when it was supposed to be the greatest night of his life. But for African Americans, it was impossible to ignore the irony. When the NFL draft comes around, everybody loves to be the first to point out what's considered a red flag. And this bias has been used for years and years, especially towards Black quarterbacks. However, this draft is a staple of history. 3 quarterbacks were picked in the top 5 for the first time in NFL history. During the past few weeks, Levis has been experiencing everything that comes with being a poster boy quarterback with a big arm. Privilege. Slowly but surely, his name rose among the mock drafts and he became an intriguing prospect. He even had a 92% chance to go into the top 10 in the draft. Sadly for him, his name wasn't called, and it's for the very reason that they use to criticize Black quarterbacks. Character. When you study his moves throughout the draft process, he was posting himself on social media looking shredded, making TikToks, just basically putting his name out there, which isn't a crime. He even asked Peyton Manning how to market himself as a quarterback in the NFL.
What advice do you have on the marketing side and maximizing those opportunities while at the same time maintaining the notion of your mind's in the right place?
There's a time and a place for all of it. Right? Let's make the football the priority number 1.
But do you know what the funniest thing about this is? If a Black quarterback did the exact same thing, he would be labeled a diva, somebody with character problems, or somebody that's only in it for himself. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong for him to even ask that question. The only problem is, you're not even on the team yet. Even though the real reason scouts passed on him day 1 is because of concerns with his toe injury, this is the same method that they've been using for Black quarterbacks for decades, even Lamar Jackson. But now since it's 2023, it appears the script has been completely flipped.
Now, I do have an article I want to get into, but before I get into this article, I want to point something out. The sheer privilege of it all. Did y'all see who he was having a one-on-one with?
Yeah, Pete.
What Black quarterback has been able to have a one-on-one before being drafted? I'm not. Don't start sending me videos of somebody being drafted and then there's an interview or a clip of them. No, before being drafted. And do you see where his mind was? He was so overly confident And I will say, this is what I call the Kentucky curse. This is where I say it. I don't even just call it the Kentucky curse. I say no professional curse. Because when you don't have a professional sports team, especially when it's the sport that you play, and I have a nephew that's falling prey to that, that's getting a rude awakening when he has to travel to all these camps over the summer. Baby, you're a big fish in a small pond. You're a big fish in a koi pond. And yes, because we don't have in Kentucky a professional team. So, like I said before, even well, you know, Chris, the tiny humans play every sport imaginable. Yeah. And it's always crowded because people don't have anything else. So if one person in their family starting at 2 years old is playing that, the whole family is coming out because there's nothing else.
Right. So high school sports are blown up.
And college sports and everything else. So they get an inflated sense of self. Like me going to high school in Cincinnati, and I went to high school across the street, literally across the street, not across the street, down the block and around the corner. I used to be able to look out of my freshman English class and see the University of Cincinnati. On my way home, I passed Xavier and Cincinnati State. People who play sports that were phenomenal, they're like, yeah, I'm phenomenal on this level. We'll see if I get picked up. They have a better sense. And he got too big for his britches. And sorry, not sorry, there are a lot of athletes that will pick colleges that throw money at them, that these states or the cities that they're in don't have professional teams that match their sports because they know they're going to get the fandom. They know they're going to get that pat on the back. They know they're going to get that participation trophy online and in interviews. But when it comes to the real deal Holyfield, we're not.
When it comes to the real deal Holyfield, you get your ear bit.
Yeah, Joe Namath, I love you. You know I love you and I respect you. But if you know, you know. We are no longer in the days of Joe Namath. We're no longer in the days of Montana. You cannot be a stationary quarterback. It does not matter how ripped you are. And if you're leading up to the draft, Mr. Sir, weren't y'all just coming at a certain national championship winner who happened to be a Black woman in college for winning the championship and congratulating herself on it? And y'all said that was lowbrow. But anywho, let me get into this article. Coming from sports.yahoo.com. Will Levis's NFL draft slide to Tennessee Titans cost him millions? Here are the numbers. Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis lost millions by slipping past the first round of the 2023 NFL draft. Widely projected as a top 10 pick. First of all, he was only projected in mock drafts. Mock drafts are generally held by fantasy football players. And as a fantasy football player, we are not the best at picking shit. But anywho, widely projected as a top 10 pick, Levis was selected by the Tennessee Titans at number 33 after the Titans traded up with the Cardinals to land the second pick in the second round. According to Spot Track data, which tracks NFL contracts and projected contracts for recent draft picks, Levis's draft slide cost him up to $20 million and maybe more. No, his ego cost him that, but okay. Once considered a candidate for number 1 overall pick by who? Levis's 4-year rookie contract has a projected value of $9.54 million with a $3.94 million signing bonus. For comparison, Colts draft pick Anthony Richardson, a quarterback from Florida who was on par with Levis in most draft rankings, is projected to earn $33.99 million with a $21.72 million signing bonus. The final pick of the first round, Chiefs rookie defensive end Felix Anudike Uzama was selected 2 spots ahead of Levis, and his contract has projected value of $11.81 million and $5.59 million signing bonus. Sorry, I stumbled because of how they separated his name in this article. It was weird. Instead of separating the first part from the second part, but here's the thing. Let's stop making excuses. Levis, the tides have turned.
Mm-hmm.
You got out there and you were feeling yourself too much. And you got out there making it very apparent that you only cared about money. You didn't care about the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is okay to want to be paid on par with the value of your talent. I'm all for that. I'm a business owner. I am a sole proprietorship. So yes, I want to be paid on par with my skill level. But you're not going to catch me out here making videos like, I'm the best. No.
He didn't have that to start with. I mean, the one quarterback out of the top 3 that went, Richardson had the highest upside. He was still a project to some extent, but he had the highest upside, not because of how many muscles he posted on social media, but because of what they saw on film, what they saw in the training. Now, he didn't have a lot of starts, but he went high enough that they thought enough that he's in the direction of the current model quarterback. You got a good arm, you got good legs. That works. You can't be a pocket guy. You can't be a run-only guy. You got to have a good combination of the two, regardless if you're not the fastest guy in the world. I mean, we can look at the number 1 pick from a few years ago and know that Joey Ice Cold Burrow may not outrun you every time on the field, but he's got enough. He's got enough to make things happen. And his arm.
First of all,
Exactly. Yeah, but is he Lamar? Could he outrace Lamar? No. But he's very accurate. He's got a good mind for the game. He makes things happen. He can ad lib. He can do a lot of things that some would have taken years to accomplish. So Burrow was a number 1 for a reason. It wasn't just because he was loaded up with talent, LSU, and they're saying, well, when he goes to pros, you're going to see that without all that LSU talent, he won't get it done. Well, he was more than just the LSU talent around him. We've seen that. So I look at Levis more as I compare Levis more to the Tebow effect. Tebow, once again, Heisman guy out of Florida. You know, he was always running those things, bowling people over. But what was he doing with his arm? He didn't have a combination of both. He was not an accurate down the field pinpoint passer. Because
the only thing Tebow was doing with his arm was praying.
He wasn't really a traditional quarterback.
Bring me a good woman that's gonna do what I say.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And bring me somebody who can coupon, because this career ain't gonna last forever.
Yeah, he needs a McEnany. Yeah, so Levis, like you said, it's a lot has to do with the area you're in and how inflated your head gets. But we saw it happen because day 2, he went early in the second round. He was nowhere to be found. You know, he got humbled overnight.
He was at home. And I saw a clip, and I didn't want to play it here because I didn't want people to think that I was adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm accurate in what I report, some people are like, oh, you just don't like this person, you're taking jabs at them. No, I'm trying to be accurate. So life in
the Commonwealth. You're just explaining life in the Commonwealth.
Right. But there were a lot of people in comment sections pointing out that as he and his family were continuing to watch the draft, his girlfriend wasn't there anymore. And I was like, no shit, Sherlock. No shit. Just like I have actually 3 brothers that were like star athletes in high school. And I kept telling them, like, y'all think y'all in love. These girls ain't in love with y'all. Y'all don't want to play sports as a career. And as they were applying for colleges, different stuff, and figuring out what they wanted to do with their life, I said, watch as you make it known to them what you want, how quickly they flutter off.
Yeah. Yeah, they're hoping you're
like,
going to be
I have a nephew right now that's top ranked in my state. TT is ready to square up and throw hands.
Go Bearcats.
Because he was like, he's smart as all get out. He's like Sheldon Jr. Okay, that's my little nugget. You know, Chris. You know my little nugget. He's using his talent as an ends to a means. He knows the school he wants to go through. He knows that even if all of us pull together, the experience he wants at that school, he's going to need scholarships in order to have the experience he wants to have at the school. And anybody who has not been at college, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. No, it's not that our family can't pull together to get him through school, but the experience that you want to have is one that's not riddled with stress, one that you don't have to worry about if you're going to eat, if you. He wants to enjoy the college experience.
Yes, go Bearcats.
And be able to study stress-free, sleep stress-free. I get it.
Yes. And then one day you'll have people coming out from across the state line over there, hit it rich, like Sauce Gardner. Never know. Never know what a Bearcat will do for you. Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's no never mind, because one of my daddy's closest friends is Dave Parker. And I used to be the one that used to get the video games and suggestions for Barry Larkin. And let's not forget my 21st. Let's not talk about my 21st birthday. Anyway, I had a Bengals-studded 21st birthday. And to this day, one of my closest friends is a former Bengals player. But now this next story is still technically along the lines of sports, but I'm putting it in the middle. This is the side of sports that a lot of people miss. I call this now the Markle effect. Y'all know Meghan Markle. And how all of a sudden, even though she's been famous for years, when she became a princess, certain family members just started going cuckoo-ca-choo. Well, let us introduce you further to Jackson Mahomes.
So we have an update on this Jackson Mahomes situation. He has been arrested on suspicion of aggravated sexual battery. Mahomes was booked around 7:45 a.m. this morning and his bond was set at $100,000. According to court records, he's been charged with 3 counts of aggravated sexual battery. He was also charged with 1 count of misdemeanor battery. If you don't remember the situation, Jackson Mahomes was caught on camera kissing his bar owner and this person did not want it. The owner tried to dismiss him many times, but Jackson Mahomes felt like that he's Jackson Mahomes, so he could do whatever he wants. And because of his actions, if he's convicted of aggravated sexual battery, with Kansas City laws, he's liable to serve up to 55 months in prison if fully convicted. So Jackson Mahomes, your fucking antics have finally got you caught up, and I'm sorry, but not that many people feel bad for you.
Jackson has been up to very disrespectful antics for a while.
I can account for that. He did it in Washington with my team.
Yes. So Patrick Mahomes, I feel so bad for him because his wife has been up to shenanigans also. But let me offer a little bit more context, because when this story first broke, yes, I did have it on this channel. I did have it on this podcast. Unfortunately, no, it was not on a Wednesday night with our good Fave Ginger. Because when the news broke, I had to get it out to y'all. I couldn't hold it. So let me break down the context. The Mahomes family does know this family that owns this restaurant. Jackson asked this woman, hey, can I talk to you in private? Because his friends were being a little rowdy at the table and being a little disrespectful, and the wait staff was getting uncomfortable. So she said, yeah, we can talk in my office. While in her office, where I'm guessing he didn't realize that there were surveillance cameras, but she's a woman that owns a business. Trust and believe. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, if I don't have a GoPro strapped to me because I'm outside of where I regularly conduct business, you're on candid camera. He kept talking about, oh, well, we need to be a couple, because this was around the time that there were a lot of rumors swirling that he was gay. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. In Jackson, you give off a persona as if you are. And I'm saying a persona because you haven't said yay or nay. I have no judgment, but I've watched you over the years, and you definitely play into that persona. And he was like, we can be a power couple. And he kept imposing himself on this woman. Like, this wasn't once and he got the hint, he misread the cues. No, he was definitively told no multiple times. He was pushed away multiple times, and he verbally threatened her. And he does all of this stuff because of who his brother is.
Yeah.
And this lovely gentleman over here can tell you, I do not, and I'm not saying this to be conceited or to pat myself on the back, but there are many people that I am connected to. You'll never hear me toss out their names. You'll never hear me threaten people with them. You'll never hear me do any of that, because whatever I do, whatever I say, I need to stand on it on my own. If I believe it and I believe that I am right, I must stand on it.
Right.
And it's my firm belief, because of my upbringing and who everybody I got to witness around me, when people start going, I'm going to act like this because my brother is this person, or my dad is this person, or my mom is that, they know they're guilty. They're trying to intimidate you.
Yeah. I'm over Jackson. I don't know how Patrick's handling things, because he's got a wife to deal with that's also out there. Now, granted, yes, he has all these sponsors and he is who he is, but maybe Jackson shouldn't go to some games. Maybe he shouldn't, I don't know. He is a guy, he is his own man, he is his own guy, but
I would say stop,
because when he went, when Kansas City went to Washington that time, and it was on the late great Sean Taylor Day, and he did some foolishness over by the area where they had a little memorial and his number.
Not bad. He did it on top of the area.
Yeah, and
let's call a spade a spade.
I was
done. He desecrated that man's memorial.
I was done. The late great Sean Taylor. That's like anybody's home favorite. That would be any team's icon, legend, whatever you want to call it. Sean Taylor, for Washington fans, you can't touch him. Don't say nothing about him, because his life was taken too early, and he was already.
I am a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Yeah.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mr. Taylor. Yeah. And maybe it's because we had a player that was gone too soon also, who was also a friend of mine. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's where my emotions are coming from.
But how dare somebody
now
go into it?
When I originally, when somebody's, I had a friend that was at the game. Now, the perspective they had was a little blurry because, and they're not the best with zooming in and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm not seeing things right. I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, and then I'll do some research. I didn't even have to do any research. When I unlocked my phone in the morning, the amount of video links where this fool thought that it was okay to desecrate his memorial for a damn TikTok trend.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, he could have done it on the side. He could have done it any place else but there. Because if you want to pay homage to somebody, you don't pay homage to them with a trend.
Yeah. That I was done at that. I didn't know much about him, but at that time I knew enough. And now that this is coming up, I'm like, there's no quit in this guy. There's no stop. There's no censor, no mute, no shutdown button within him. I mean,
see, the only thing I knew about him before that is that I guess the whole Mahomes family got like custom Letterman jackets. And the only thing I knew about him is that his jacket was misspelled. And I was like, if the family ordered them, why'd they do that to him? Like, I was like, maybe it's an inside family joke. Like, I just chuckled. And I promise you, in like 72 hours, that came out. And you know me. Once somebody gets on my nerves, I go down the rabbit hole. And I was like, oh, you ain't shit.
I mean, normally you're getting something done like that with names and something. Somebody is checking the proofs before they're actually made. So something tells.
Yeah, because every year we get shirts made for well, not basketball yet. Because I'm not gonna say on here, but you know how the leagues go. We do get shirts for football. We do get shirts for cheer. We do get shirts for baseball.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, oh, this must be an inside like family joke.
Yeah. The joke.
Because there are a lot of shirts of mine on the back that say Sheldon. It's funny. It's
yeah, that would be. I like it. Yeah, because it's true.
Exactly.
It's either going to say Sheldon or Vader. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I sent the kids a picture of this shirt and they were like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and some of those, yeah, you would definitely know who would know those things about you.
And it's funny because they were like, so the resident ginger sent you this? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like
yeah.
I got a lot of text messages that just look like this from my kids. When I was like, how do you know the resident ginger said?
They'd be like, yes, and hands off the merchandise. Yes, no sneaking over, no trying to get into the graphic tee section. No, hands off. You're banned.
Yeah, just so y'all know, like, you know what? I know how to perfectly, excuse me, sum up our friendship. I am the Frozone to his Mr. Incredible.
Yeah,
because that was one friendship that you could not break. They knew that, like,
yeah,
because they would look at each other like, "What's wrong with you?"
Until he went to the hypnotic thing, but yeah, aside from that.
Yeah, but okay, y'all. I know that there's a lot of things listed in the description of this video. If we don't get to it, excuse me, tonight, y'all know I'll make up for it tomorrow. But y'all know we got to talk about Mr. You ain't got to go home, but you can't come back here. Mr. Formerly a Grizzly himself, Dillon Brooks. Now, I do apologize. Some things might be out of order because I was having extreme technical difficulties before we went live tonight. So, but you'll be able to get the gist of everything. And if you can't, work on your comprehension. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
I'm Sheldon. But turn up your volume. Go replenish your drinks. Go smoke if you got to. Get another snack because we got a series of videos because we got to break this all the way down.
Yeah.
And it's better to do this breakdown in videos, because as I was talking to my cousin before we went live, if I try to explain this, let's have the visuals. Let us have the visuals.
There's a lot to dissect when it comes to Mr. Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, because they said you ain't got to go home. You just can't come back here.
That was about the most blunt I've heard anybody say. Like, no.
And there have been some NBA players do some things.
Yeah.
And they haven't got, they just got traded with if you get it together in a couple years, you could come. Like, I lived through Allen Iverson.
Yeah, but there's some that just.
And Anthony Hardaway.
That there's some that talk, but they actually have something on the court to back some things up, at least some. But when you have nothing except your mouth, they cut ties with you.
Only thing he got is double eyebrows, because y'all can't tell me y'all don't see them eyebrows on top of his eyebrows.
Only a Sheldon would know.
I always focus in on
fun
the
with
wrong
eyebrows. Fun with flags, fun with eyebrows.
But I always focus in on the wrong thing. But y'all, just take a look at these videos.
Yeah.
It's real. This is why I bring the proof. Because if I just tell y'all be like, oh, Taz is reaching. No, I'm not. Take a look. Who saw? Here we go.
Yes.
Then, in early February, Brooks was involved in an altercation with Donovan Mitchell that led to both players getting ejected. It was here where we could see Brooks' hated side really start to come out. He began building an image as someone who was aggressive and dirty, similar to how some fans perceived Draymond Green. But still, it was not yet at this point when Brooks was so heavily hated. Events just began to pile up for Dillon Brooks, who shoved a cameraman during a game against the Heat and seemed to not care at all. And then he said that the money he was to be fined was just paper, which fans took as inconsiderate to the majority of people. Fans began to dislike his character, on top of the fact that fans believed Brooks did not play at the level to justify his somewhat arrogant behavior. Over the course of the season, Brooks amassed a whopping 18 technical fouls, which is the most in the NBA, and was fined over $250,000. Fined over $250,000. But the hate for him only deepened after his back and forth comments between him and Draymond Green. Brooks and Green got into altercations on the court, but the real drama occurred off the court when Brooks called Draymond Green's podcast cute. Draymond had his own words for the Grizzlies, claiming that they hadn't won anything, so there was no real rivalry. The beef was then set on fire when Brooks blasted Draymond, saying he didn't like Draymond at all, and essentially said that if you put Draymond on any other team but the Warriors, he would be a nobody. Draymond responded with the quite legendary response, responding to Brooks' comments line by line, boasting his own career accomplishments and calling Brooks a fan. But the main highlight of Green's response was this.
If you ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship, look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. The dynasty starts after you, not with you.
NBA fans actually agreed with Draymond in this, and fans were already annoyed by Brooks' character, but felt like after this, he was not justified at all in coming at Draymond and the Warriors. At this point, Dillon Brooks was certainly hated, and fans grew tired of constantly seeing him in the media. People wanted to see him fail, and consequently wanted to see the Grizzlies fail. But this is not the end. Dillon Brooks has become the most hated player in the NBA over the past few months. But why? Why have NBA fans collectively come together to hate on Dillon Brooks and perceive him as this quote-unquote villain? It actually all started last season, when Brooks was ejected for a hard foul on Gary Payton II in their playoff series against the Warriors. But this was only the beginning of a series of events that would transform Brooks from a regular NBA player to the most hated player in the league. Fast forward to January of 2023, which is when Brooks, and the Grizzlies for that matter, really received the status of the enemy during a Lakers game, where Shannon Sharpe and Brooks got into a heated exchange which garnered the attention of the entire Grizzlies team. This became a huge deal, as Shannon Sharpe is a well-known analyst, NFL Hall of Famer, and LeBron fan who people believe could certainly handle Dillon Brooks in an altercation. This is where the talking began and the bad guy persona began to unleash. Then, in early February, Brooks was involved in an altercation with Donovan Mitchell that led to both players getting ejected. It was here where we can see Brooks' hated side really start to come out. He began building an image as someone who was aggressive and dirty, similar to At the time I'm recording this video, the Lakers are up 2-1 on the Memphis Grizzlies, with Game 4 in LA. Although I will not discuss predictions in this video as I have in others, if the Grizzlies were to lose this series, the quote-unquote villain era of Dillon Brooks could prove to be a complete disaster, as he would have accumulated a ton of fines, a handful of ejections, and a first-round exit. There are reports that Brooks is not even wanted in Memphis, and that he could be on his way out if the Grizzlies were to lose this series. Brooks' strategy to be the bad guy and try to get in his opponent's head may just be the strategy that lowers his market value and costs his team success. Could be an absolute detriment to his career. Maybe this was all one big troll, or maybe Brooks actually believes what he was saying. Regardless, the rise and fall of Brooks' villain era in the 2023 NBA season has been entertaining and has added flavor to the NBA. It will be interesting to see whether Brooks remains in Memphis or not, and if he continues his current behavior. But until then, I appreciate you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.
So for people who haven't yet heard,
during their playoff series against the Lakers, Brooks decided to come at arguably the greatest player of all time in LeBron James, saying he was old, beyond his prime, and could not beat Brooks one-on-one. This garnered so much backlash that even Skip Bayless, the most notorious LeBron hater, said this.
I seethe over this to the point that I want LeBron to destroy this man because it's so out of bounds what he did. It's so uncalled for. It's so beneath the dignity of one LeBron Ramon James.
At this point, everyone was fed up with Brooks' trash talk, as people felt he had absolutely nothing to back it up and was constantly blasted by media and fans. It continued when the very next game, he got ejected for hitting LeBron James in the area and blamed it on the media's perception of him for why he was ejected. And after all the altercations, comments, and events that Brooks was involved in, this was perhaps his biggest mistake.
I want to know if they called them or they text them and say, hey, Dillon, we will not bring you back under any circumstances. Like, Memphis, wow. I ain't never seen a tweet like that unless a player, like, unalive somebody or have a charge against him. Ain't like he got arrested. He just played kind of reckless and whatnot. They said, nah, you ain't coming back. I know your contract up. Don't even try to, we not offering you anything. That's crazy, man. Somebody gonna offer him though, cause he an NBA player. He can still play. He's just reckless sometimes. You think it's a WWE match, so.
So not only did they throw out the lawsuit.
Yeah. Okay, so if you look at the history of bad boys, okay, a lot of them also had game. But if you look at current ones, I would say, let's take Patrick Beverley, for instance. He's kind of been known as a guy that's taken some cheap shots and said a lot. He's bounced around the league a lot too. Teams get tired of that. Teams don't want you to be the fueling of the other team. You know, you're taking shot. I mean, just this season alone, like out of nowhere, Dillon Brooks has come out and seems like every game he's challenging either the star or somebody that's beloved in that city or something. And what is he actually giving the Grizzlies? He's giving the other team fuel to come out and kick their butts, but it gets old. As a team, you don't want that coming out of your locker room. You want unity. You want to put a good team on the floor. And to see that happen, am I surprised? No. I truly felt that when his contract, I didn't know it was already coming up, but yeah, I didn't see that team wanted to have a figure like that as a unauthorized spokesman for them.
And here's the thing. Let's switch up sports real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget how outrageous Chad Ochocinco was. They hated his, touchdown celebrations, even though in Cincinnati we had the icky shuffle and so much more.
Yeah.
But once again, like you said, he could back it up. And Chad, say what you want about Chad. And I know y'all want to talk about one particular controversy, and we can talk about that mano a mano because I'll break all of that down for y'all. But anywho, Chad wasn't breaking records for getting ejected. Chad wasn't breaking records for breaking the rules. This is what makes Dillon authentic. Like, how do you have the most ejection? And then you sitting here with double eyebrows and negative talent doing all of this. Like, becoming drafted, getting signed is not the end all to be all. This is not the movie Ants, because I know in the movie Ants they were like worker, construction. Like, no, that's not how this goes. Once you get put into a position, it does not mean you're going to die in that position. Even as a business owner, if I screw up, guess what happens? I no longer have an income.
Yeah. So
but
when you talk about he was, when they say that him going at LeBron and all that, when you poke certain bears, they come back at you. He poked the grizzly bear, and the grizzly said, "You're out."
And my thing is, this gentleman already knows I am not a LeBron fan.
Me neither.
But here's the caveat. There's a special part of my heart was someone younger than me who, before the new rulings in the NBA, was able to bypass college and had so much talent to get up in the NBA. You want to now call them old?
Right.
See, when you start going after somebody's age, somebody's size, somebody's look, somebody's religion, somebody's identity, somebody's sexual orientation, that lets me know you're not talented. Because I've had grown men try to come at me regarding my credentials and my skill set. And this man, he done seen me. I don't go after
You've gone after Sir.
I verbally eviscerate them with facts.
You've gone after Sir Puppers.
Ain't nobody going off on me right now.
I remember when he went after Shannon Sharp, and he had to come on TV and talk about, hey, he's part of Fox Sports, but
Shannon was about to whoop that.
And if you see how built Shannon is, Dillon would have been in trouble.
What was that movie? Hustle and Flow. Remember the song "Whoop That Hoe"?
Yeah.
That hoe. That was about to be real life.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't he forgot. Shannon came from the NFL.
Yeah. and he's from Georgia. He's not from LA. Yeah, Dillon would have been in trouble. But then again,
Dillon knew
Shannon knew his career would have been in trouble too. So,
and I was trying to find a clip that would be acceptable to play here from that night. And it was one of those clips that would have got muted or removed for certain areas. And I was like, I hate getting those clips because people don't have full context.
Yeah.
But y'all can Google it.
Yeah.
Y'all can Google it.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all will see Dillon keep writing checks.
Mm-hmm.
Did his ass can't.
No, I mean, he's going after like beloved stars. Like, you know, when you start getting in, you know, Steph Curry's face, you know, the fan base Curry has. So you know you're not winning that. That popularity contest is over from the start. Yeah, I don't get why
And
the
y'all
villain
know,
role.
and if you know, you know. I'm hashtag Laker Nation. I have been a Laker fan since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and yes, y'all know I know everybody's original names before they change it. Magic Johnson. I remember when Michael Jordan and Michael Bird and all of them was friends. Okay, I didn't get on the hype of anything. And before y'all go, well, Taz, I knew you in high school. You had a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket because I like the colors, bitch. That wasn't the team that I was rocking with. I was just a girly girl.
The Charlotte Hornets.
But hold on, there's one comment. There's one comment I need to address, and this is a friend of mine. First and foremost, y'all need to get LeBron's legacy correct. He's not from Cleveland, he's from Akron.
Yes.
And I've been to Akron. And I've also been to Cleveland. My godparents, well, one set of my godparents, y'all know I'm extra. My parents were extra. I got more than one set. It is a Dust Bowl. Okay. LeBron is talented in his own right. I just don't like the theatrics. Okay. I'm old school. I want you to go to the court, sweat it out on the court, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Now, infamously, if y'all remember, there was a commercial where Kobe Bryant was supposed to let somebody just get a layup over him. And he's like, nah, you gonna earn this, regardless if it's a commercial or not. That's the energy that I need. Yeah. I don't need you trying to get an Oscar because you got tapped in the game.
Right.
I don't need you bouncing around team to team so that you can win. If you got this talent, show me your talent, bruh. I've been around you since before the McDonald's classics.
Yeah. If to make a name, you got to be a villain, then that means your game is not a game. Your game has no game. Because number one, this isn't the 90s or late 80s with the bad boy Pistons, where you always had somebody you hated. You had the Bill Lambier. You had somebody you knew was just out there giving cheap shots. That's not today's game. This is a game where what role are you playing? What positive role are you contributing? You know, are you helping when you come off the bench? If you're not, why are you taking on a villain role? Why are you taking on these teams' stars that just...
This isn't WWE. You don't have writers. Oh, and side note, for all of you trans folks and those of y'all that want to go against the drag community, especially those of y'all that are in the same age bracket as me and the resident ginger, if y'all were watching those Anthony Hardaway commercials where Grandmama was making an appearance, I don't want to hear shit. If y'all still quote Tu Wong Fu with love, Julie Newmar, I don't want to hear shit. If you still love Big Mama's House or Madea movies, I don't want to hear shit. If you were chuckling when Shaq was in a dress to shuck and sail Big Macs, I don't want to hear shit.
And for the Rodman fans.
Okay. But final thoughts on the night?
Tonight, Star Wars Eve. There's so much going on out there that we could have talked about that We just don't have time. New stuff popping up all the time. But tonight we did have
there's so much.
We did a little sports talk. Obviously, there's stuff always going on in Washington, which we know the right is always up to something, always up from state to state. They're always up to something. So it's always good sometimes to take a break from what they're destroying in each state. But like I said, find a good show to watch sometimes. Find some good popcorn or a good drink or something to eat.
Or Star Wars.
There's always Star Wars to watch. Not that they're all were good. I will admit, not all were good, but there are.
Wait up! Damn,
the sequels.
Oh.
Sequels made Lucas's prequels look golden.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that.
I can't go all the way on all of them just because I am a fan and our expectations are of a certain timeline that we want to follow, certain characters that we can see from time to time.
Yeah, y'all could have kept that Boba Fett shit.
And thankfully, we have the Mandalorian.
Yeah, because Boba Fett was shit.
Thankfully, we had Grogu. Because Grogu is the Force. And he likes nuggies. Cheeky nuggies and snacks, which we all like.
Y'all might see Grogu again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
So
love a good cheeky nugget.
nothing wrong with chicken nuggies. We know the tiny humans love them. Never too old to like chicken nuggies. But yeah, I don't really have.
I just remember.
Yeah, I mean it is.
The tiny humans will be here this weekend.
We do have something coming up Monday, meaning it will be 2 weeks from the day we just celebrated. So we're still in Taurus season. So any Taurians out there, God bless you.
And because it will not fall on our day of the week, if we could give just an early collective happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you.
Now I'm gonna need this tomorrow too.
Happy birthday.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was awesome. And even Puppers liked it. He thought it was his birthday, but oh well.
Yeah, but no, he's still trying to fight me because Raphael Warnock was on Joy Reid tonight.
Okay.
We're still working through that, and he got his buddy.
Look at that! Look at that buddy! Look at his buddy! Look at his buddy!
It's a whole.
Yeah, it's a process.
Oh, wait a minute! Hold on! Wait a minute! Oh, wait a minute! We got birthday wishes coming through. Hold on. Hey! So we got happy birthdays coming through. Ew.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Always appreciate it.
We love the ginger.
Another trip around the sun.
We love the ginger.
And you know, since the whole panel here is Taurus, sometimes you just know other Tauruses, and we definitely feed off each other. Like I said, you all don't even know how we talk off the air. I mean, we've shot so many different subjects. I mean, from movies to music to politics to everything. I mean, that's what friends are for. That's what good friends know. That doesn't mean you have to talk every day to people that you know, but when you do, you pick up right where you left off. So
yeah, because if y'all ever get a hold of our text messages, y'all gonna get a good laugh. y'all gonna get a good laugh. We have no sense.
Yeah,
we have no sense.
We're nuts.
And the random things that we find funny.
Yeah. Believe me, our conversations are not all serious talk, and it's definitely not all politics.
And it'll be the most random things that we will find funny and share with each other, and the other one will just bust out laughing like, "Oh, that is funny." Where I know other people will be like, "What is wrong with them?"
Yeah, there's sometimes we're talking and laughing, and even Sir Puckers probably just wanders off because he's just like, "I've had it with you too."
Yeah, he's always over my shit. He's always over my shit.
All right.
But as always, check out the links in the description of this video. If you follow me on TikTok, the anti-racism journey series is still going. I do not have the ability to put them all in the playlist for you all, but like I said, over my head, you'll see it in big, bold pink print, because pink is my signature color. It is my life force. So you can follow along with that, and make sure you join us, whether you join me tomorrow or, because I know some of y'all just like the ginger. I like the ginger. So
and
if you just
go get some merch. Go get some merch, people. Merch.
Oh yeah. Make sure you get some merch. If you're in need of a journal, a hoodie, a mug, a water bottle, a backpack, whatever you need, I got it, baby.
There's some Taz highlighters.
And just to let you all know, we are finalizing the story for Friday, because I know I started a new series on Friday, so you all will be able to see this new love story that me and my daughter that decided to adopt me have put together. So, you know, come on back through. But as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. And y'all,
may the 4th be with you tomorrow.
Yes, may the 4th be with you, and forgive me for this last video, but it's amusing.
So today we're having the first announcement of shows that are put on hold or indefinite delay. SNL announced that they are delayed indefinitely amid the writer's strike, meaning the Pete Davidson hosted episode that was supposed to happen this weekend is officially off, and we are now going to get reruns until basically their airtime slot for the season is done. I recommend following Variety.com. They're doing a list and updating by the hour of all the shows and movies affected by the strike. The Producers Guild has also made a statement showing support to the WGA. Strikes are currently happening in LA and New York. You have the producer Steve Higgins, who is a producer of SNL and a Tonight Show announcer, joining the picket line. You also have Zach Cherry from Severance joining the picket line as well. Danny Strong is currently on the picket line, and he is currently speaking with different outlets saying how basically it's unfair that the writers are being treated this way. You also have members of SAG-AFTRA joining the picket line. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, when they make this sign saying that they will spoil Succession, they're not playing. They literally hold the keys. We're always seeing studios and networks doing uptick in reality TV. CW just picked up F-Boy Island after it got canceled and also announced a spinoff, Edgar Island. Y'all know them jokes people were making last night about, 20 seasons of Love is Blind. They weren't joking.
Cracker Barrel is just a Waffle House with a gift shop. Cracker Barrel is just a Waffle House with a gift shop.
Why are you smiling like that, dog? Oh, come on now. I know you saw that video. We're the same. Bitch, I am nothing like you, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. You doing your shit and I'm doing my shit. Oh, come on, home skillet. Don't do that. Don't call me that. You think I can borrow the strap just in case shit gets real out here? No, you may not. All right, so what do you want me to bring to the barbecue? What are you talking about? Aren't I invited to the barbecue now? You mean invited to the cookout? Yeah. Nope. Bro, the only thing we have in common is that we both serve breakfast. And an ass whooping if somebody gets out of pocket. This is the worst day of my life, dog. Ha ha. Good food fast. Let me tell you something, bitch. That slogan does not belong to you. You stupid motherfucker. Shut up. That hurts. Shut up. I'm calling my lawyer. If you gentlemen would excuse me, I think I'm gonna go and watch an episode of Yellowstone.